Hey guys, I'm back again, that homeschooler, another video. I just got back home from the movie theater, went and saw the Mutant Teenage Ninja Turtles, whatever that movie is called. And I have to tell you right now, if you have not seen it, go get your life and watch the movie. It was a little slow in the beginning, but Whoopi Goldberg was in the movie, and it's been a while since I've seen her in a movie, and she was really good in the movie. But the movie is just funny. If you are sad and you need a good pick-me-up, you need a good laugh, go watch the movie. The movie is hilarious. When the action starts piling in, it is a pretty good movie. I actually give the movie a 9. But the main reason we are here today, I want to do a review on the TV show Hell's Kitchen. Now, if you have not seen this show, you need to start watching it. This show is about chefs that go and compete in the kitchen, Hell's Kitchen, that is owned by Chef Gordon Ramsay, and he picks up stuff and he throws them and he cusses everybody out, and he gives me my life completely. And it's a great show. I was actually going to wait until some of the chefs got eliminated some more before I did a review, but this was a really, really good episode, and I just want to review this. No one else is doing any reviews, so I said, why not? Let me start. So here we go. So the episode pretty much starts out with the red team, which is the women, talking about their teammate Jennifer, who just collapsed. They have no idea what's going on with her. She was rushed out in an ambulance. They're sitting up, they're saying, I really don't think she's coming back tonight. And she does come back. Bryant and Sterling, who are on the blue team, they are having a conversation about trust issues and, you know, ask me for help. If you ever need help, I'm here. So the next day, they get a call to come downstairs. They come downstairs, and one of the assistant chefs is telling everyone to come through the door, but be very quiet. And as they walk through the door, they see this graduation ceremony going on, and they're like, what is going on? And it is a graduation ceremony. Chefs getting their, I guess, their cooking diploma, and Gordon Ramsay gets up to speak. He speaks. Now the teams have no idea what's going on, but it turns out that the chefs, the teammates, the red and the blue team, need to cook for the graduated students. They had no idea that this was going to pop up. So now not only are they cooking that night, but they have to cook that morning as well. So he's giving them their new menus. But first of all, let me interject this. What annoys me so much about the people on this show is that they get on here, they sit up here, and they talk all this smack about, I've been a chef for 15 years and I do this and I do this, I know how to cook, yet you can't prove it. You bring up raw food, and there's all these chefs with these egos on this show that think they can really bring it, and they can't cook worth a darn. And that's what we're dealing with here in this kitchen. So anyway, so both teams are given 20 minutes to cook breakfast for the graduates. Now they are struggling, and I'm not sure why, because everyone should know how to cook breakfast. They are struggling with serving raw egg. They cannot even cook an egg in a pan, in an oven. I'm talking about a personal pan of egg that's in the oven, and they keep taking it out, and the food is raw. Both teams are struggling with this. So with the raw egg situation, they keep serving raw egg. I guess it's because they are rushing, trying to be the first team to serve their half of the restaurant. The red team does win. They win a trip to San Francisco to meet with Chef Dominique Chin. I think it is. And the blue team has to stay there in the kitchen. Their punishment for not winning is to grind up this meat by hand and serve and make sausage, like literally make the sausage, putting the sausage into the skin, all that good stuff. And they're standing there making these jokes about how it's not cool to help another man play with his meat and stuff. So after the outing and the red team comes back and is getting very close to dinner service, everyone is getting ready. Now, I don't know, if you have seen this show, I want to know if I'm the only one that thinks of this. Actually, my mom thinks of this too, is that whoever it is, whether it's the red team or the blue team, whenever they win a challenge and they go out and they have fun, when they come back into the kitchen, their focus is not there. Like they can't think right. They always have a bad dinner service for some reason. And maybe it's just has been the last 2 seasons of Hell's Kitchen. Because I remember there used to be some contestants on the show that when they would go out, they would sit and they would talk about what they needed to do, and they would come back and they would go hard in the kitchen. As a matter of fact, I even noticed when the red team went to San Francisco, Chef Ramsay came along with them to the restaurant, and the women are sitting there talking about what the guys are doing back at the kitchen. Now, in past episodes, the teams that got to sit with Chef Ramsay, which was not often, they sat there and they asked him questions about, how do we succeed? How do we do this? How do we do that? Why are y'all sitting there at the table discussing what the men who lost are doing? Y'all need to be sitting and asking Chef Ramsay how he got where he is. You guys are so, I can't explain it. So into yourselves, or so into, you think that you've got it going on, that you don't need to. I don't know. Now, I did forget, before dinner service started, half of the blue team is sitting down. I believe it was Steve, Aaron, and Fernando. I want to say it was Fernando. They were sitting down and they were talking about their other teammates who they did not want on the team before. Now, this is how devious it gets, y'all. They do not like JR, they do not like Sterling, and they do not like Frank. Now, if you have been watching the season so far, these 3 people, which is Sterling, JR, and Frank, have not been the butt of the team. They have been, for the most part, have been carrying their weight. But the other guys want them off the team. So those 3, are sitting down trying to figure out a way to mess them up to get them to go home. So during dinner service, they are prepping in their kitchen, and I believe it was Frank that yells out, "I've got the hot water on for the potatoes." And Aaron yells, "You don't boil the potatoes in hot water, you do it in cold water." And he turns around and he starts snickering with Steve, like, "Yeah, that's gonna really mess them up." And I was like, are y'all serious? You really trying to trip them up? And it was just really stupid. It was just really stupid. But anyway, so during dinner service, you have Brian and you have Steve and you have Aaron working together instead of working with the team, while trying to trip the other guys up to make them look bad. Yet in doing this, they are making themselves look bad. Steve is a really good chef. He has not done anything to get kicked out of the kitchen. His food has been pretty good for this whole season, pretty much. But there's something about Sterling that has him very uncomfortable and makes him think that Sterling thinks being there is a joke, because Sterling is always happy. And I do have to say, something is going on with Sterling. I don't know if he's just happy, but I mean, they're on punishment and he's singing and he's dancing, and maybe he's just a happy person. Maybe he just believes in being happy, but Steve does not like that. So he really wants Sterling gone. So back to the red team. We go back over to the red team, and food is trying to come out. It is trying to come out, but the holdup is the fish station. It's Kaylin and Ro who was on the fish station. Kaylin keeps sending out these burnt on one side, raw on the other side scallops. And this is what people do not get, okay? Chef, this is Gordon Ramsay's restaurant. Gordon Ramsay's name is on this food. This is Gordon Ramsay's electricity. This is Gordon Ramsay's equipment. So, and this is Gordon Ramsay's food. So when you do not make the food right and you are messing up, yes, he's going to get mad. Yes, he's going to get upset. But on top of that, you're supposed to be this well-trained chef that knows everything, yet you cannot cook scallops. So Kaylin keeps bringing up these scallops. She knows they're not right. She admitted that they are not right, yet she keeps bringing them up. The last plate of scallops she brought up were overcooked. And she got sent out the kitchen, and Ro got sent out the kitchen, even though Ro did not cook the scallops. But she got sent out the kitchen because they are both on fish station. One should be helping the other. And it is too far, even though this is still 15 chefs, this is too far in the game for you to not know how to cook certain things. You actually should know how to cook certain things. And this is another thing I get upset about. You know you're coming on Hell's Kitchen. The menu, after all these years, has not changed. You should know how to cook scallops. You should know how to cook risotto. You should know how to cook beef Wellington. You should know how to cook mashed potatoes. You should know how to make a salad. You should know how to saute the spinach. You should know how to do all of that when you come to Hell's Kitchen. I just don't understand why certain people are there if they can't do it. Sorry. So after telling Ro and Kaylin to get out the kitchen, he also told them to take these scallops and y'all eat them. He said, take these scallops, y'all eat them. He gave them some wine to go with them bad scallops. And they sat there. They didn't even want to eat. They were like, can we come back in the kitchen, chef? He said, shut up. But he eventually allowed them to come back in. But back to the blue team. The blue team is cooking for a VIP table. This was I really don't know who he is. He looks like he smokes crack, but he was there. Something about basketball, or he was some actor or something. He was there, and they kept messing up his food. They were supposed to be cooking salmon. The salmon was either dry or raw, and now Ramsay is getting completely upset. This was like the most upset I've ever seen him. He's turning red at this point. I mean, red. He is so upset. He said to Santos, what does VIP mean? And Santos said, very important person. He said louder, very important person, very important person. I mean, he made him scream that at the top of his lungs, to the point where everyone in the restaurant turned around to see this, to see what was going on, because the food was that bad. Mind you, this is one of the same guys that is trying to trip another guy up to get him off the team, but he's not watching himself to make sure that he doesn't get kicked off the team. So you've got two teams messing up on fish. And the thing is, everything works around in a circle. Nothing can go out until another meal is prepared correctly. If fish is not ready to walk, nothing else can walk. So the other food may be ready, but by the time that food gets ready, the other food is cold and they have to remake it. So everything is being held and being pushed back. And that's another reason why he gets upset. So we move on to entrees, I think it is. Or I think there's two types of entrees. JR is on your meat, and he is cooking pork. And one of the teammates is telling him that's not ready. That's raw. Don't send that up there. And JR has this serious, arrogant thing about him. And he says, you know, cool your brakes, man. I've been cooking, pork for 15 years. I know how it's supposed to be. That pork was raw. And he kept putting the pork up there raw. And you know what? His title was, what was he? He was a personal chef. I want to know, a personal chef for who? For what? And for why? Because you can't cook. Like, through the whole season he's been here, he's been talking a lot. And this was really his time to shine. This was really his time to shine. And he messed up. And if it's one thing that Chef does not play, it's raw food. Now, I've seen a lot of things slide, especially with raw food with certain people, but he did not let it slide with JR. That was a no-no. He was so upset. So upset. So dinner service is over, and Chef is really not happy at all. He was disappointed in both teams. But the issue with the blue team is that there's no communication, and they are so focused on driving this wedge between, who's better, and I'm up here and you're down here. I've been doing this longer, that they are not focusing on the number one point that's most important, and that is we are all a team. We all need to shine. Yes, that this is a competition, but until it gets down to the two of us, we need to be helping each other out, and that's how the team is supposed to succeed. The red team won that dinner service as well, even though they did a terrible job. So they don't have to put anyone up for elimination. The blue team does. So they're upstairs. And I have not seen so many whiny, arrogant, immature men argue back and forth over stupid stuff. They're even with the guys that they wanted to eliminate early on, not even messing up that dinner service that night, they are still trying to put them up on elimination even though they messed up. And a lot of times what they also fail to realize is that they need to look at the overall experience from when that chef got there to where they are now. And they end up putting Steve up for elimination, and they put JR up for elimination. Now, even with Steve being how he is, Steve did not deserve to go up for elimination because he can cook. He can actually back up his cooking. JR, he hasn't really done anything, and like I said, tonight was his time to shine, and he did not do it. He talks a lot, but Chef was not happy with just the two of them being up there. He called Frank down too. Frank is the Italian. Now, the issue that Chef has with Frank is that night, Frank was just standing there doing nothing. He was looking at himself in the mirror. He's this pretty boy, and I think that was JR's way of escape had he said, the right thing. But JR ended up going home thankfully, because he wasn't doing anything. And JR, Frank and Steve got to stay. And like Steve said, you know, tonight was a wake-up call. It's time for us to stop trying to be buddy and friends, and let's just go ahead and do this. And I hope that they do. I hope that they get it together, because these are some whiny men. And like Jennifer said, the women are not the ones wearing the bras and the panties. It is the men. So that was, you know, Hell's Kitchen episode 15 Chefs Compete. I hope you guys watch the show. If you do not watch the show, it gives me everything. And I like rage. I like yelling. I like the stupid stuff. So definitely check it out. And I will see you all next time. Smooches. Bye.